Okay, we're going to remove this block right here because I want to take this, which is going to be a bracket for that light down there, right down there, and I want to put this bracket right here. So we got to remove this piece. Okay, what we're gonna do here is we're gonna cut this wire right here. Just cut it. Okay, now I'm gonna strip this wire right here. I feel like I'm in the Wild West today because I heard a couple of coyotes today, just now. This is about 2 o'clock at night. And then I already prepared this wire here, stripped both ends. Now I want to lengthen this, so put this on here. Now I need another connector on this one. Then make sure that it's not going to come apart. Cut another 2-inch piece of shrink tube. Now I found that as much wire work as I do, it's better for me to buy one of these, and this is 8 feet of shrink tube. Cut another one, 2 inches. Okay, now take this shrink tube, put it over here on this wire that I have lengthened. I'm lengthening this to make this wire longer. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take this, which is just temporarily clamped on here. I had cut it off of the trailer because I want to move this to the back. And it's going to be similar to the other one, which is over there. Okay. I don't want it clear at the back. I just want it so it will be somewhat protected. Okay, now I got to cut this yellow wire. On this particular light, there's only 2 wires. Cut it at a reasonable place. Strip the wire. Twist it. Put another connector on. this case, I bought these at Walmart, and in this case, I'm putting a red one on. Make sure that these connectors do not come off. Test them. Alright. Now, I'm going to try to find a yellow wire. This is the yellow wire right here. Okay, first of all, to install this Ashley direct vent heater, you're going to have to take your level right here. And for this one, this is an 11,000 BTU direct vent heater. So we'll show that in a minute. For the direct vent gas heater. Now I wanted a direct vent because I've tried the ventless heaters, and I do have 2 of those space heaters, but they gave out after a short time, so I bought this instead. And here is the front of it, and I'll show some more of that later. I took the old space heater out, and I still have the connections down here. Over here on this side, you have to have at least 5 inches from the window, which has combustible materials. You have to have at least 5 inches from here over to here. This is the 11 by 11 opening, and I used utility knife. I used a utility knife to cut this out. But first of all, before you do that, you have to use your level, and you have to mark off an 11 by 11 piece that you're going to cut out. And again, you have to read the instructions, otherwise you're going to catch your house on fire or something like that. I ran into this situation. Okay, here's the drywall, and then next came the plaster. And I'll get a close-up of that. Okay, next came the plaster. And then, after that, you have these lath. All these are lath. And what they did was, they took the lath, put them on studs, and you cannot see the studs in this wall, but they took the lath, spaced them about 1/4 of an inch, and probably made them level, and then put the plaster over top of that. That's what was here when my father first started remodeling. Okay, now there's a space in here between the lath and the this would be cedar siding. Cedar siding right here. And then that was on the house probably for several years. And then they put on asbestos siding. And you can see some of it right here. This area right here, this white area right here, is the asbestos siding. And then after that, after a few years, then in probably the 80s or 90s, they put on vinyl siding. Here's some of the nails that were used for the vinyl, or, well, I guess possibly the asbestos. Anyways, then they put this 1/4 inch insulation right here. They put that on and then put the vinyl on. So that's sort of a history lesson on how this worked. Now this OSB right here, the reason why I use that is because when I took all this plaster off of here and lath and cut through it, I cut through this with a Sawzall, this lath, I believe. I'm not sure if I did that or not. I think I cut through this with a Sawzall. And then when I got through, there was a whole bunch of old newspaper insulation. They used to, in the 60s or 70s, they developed blow-in insulation. Okay, now here's some of the tools that I had to use. On the outside, for vinyl siding, this is the only tool that I have found that works. You have to have a grinder. This one has a cutoff wheel right here. This one happens to be diamond, but it's that way if you hit a nail, then you won't have your cutoff wheel fall apart. That's the only thing that can cut vinyl siding. So you have to cut that first. You have to measure outside to make an 11 1/4 and 11 1/4 hole. And then I use, like I said, I use the Sawzall. I do have one that is corded. This is cordless, but I did use this at times also. Okay, when you receive your heater, you have to take this thing out. Now this comes with some approximately 2-inch pieces that go on here. So this is about 5.5 inches here, and then these have perforations here so that you can break this off. Now it's very difficult to break it off. You're going to have to use tin snips to get it to especially work on the corners. And this one is supposedly for a 2x4 wall, if you have a 2x4 wall. And then if you have a 2x6 wall, then you're going to have that additional piece on here all the way around. Now it only has 3 sides. And then you have to take this piece, this black one, and you have to attach it to the sheet metal one, galvanized sheet metal. And they give you screws like this to use. Another thing is, after you get this screwed on here, like this, you have this hole that's offset, because the hole on the heater is offset also. And then you have these things here, grommets, like this. And you have to put those grommets in these holes here. And they go on the back, right here. Now you have to watch so that you don't mess up your tape. Put this on. not too worried about the tape. I attached this to the wall so it would be out of my way, but I'm going to have to take that off of there. Okay, now you got to put those grommets on. Down on the bottom here. Okay, now this screw that I took out, you have to take this sensor and there's a wire tie, a zip tie if you want to call it, and it's holding this thing inside this cabinet. Well, there's screws. This is a tube. This is a tube, and it's a sensor, and it's very easy to kink it. All right, those grommets right there, they would not stay in, so I taped them. That these quarter-sized pieces that are yellow gold, they go right here. Okay, now there's a black strip on top of this. It goes on top of two tabs on top, not on the bottom of it. And you're going to have to put in 2 half-inch screws. They, on this packet, the half-inch screws are called, the half-inch screws are called 6 VI, and there's 8 pieces altogether. You would have used some of them earlier. All right, these next ones are called I. They go on the bottom, and there are 2 corresponding holes where they go. It just happened that my other heater, space heater, which was also propane, like this one, it had a half-inch inlet. The inlet is where the gas goes into the heater. All right. So I had about a 2-inch nipple, and you have to thread that up into this Ashley direct vent heater. And then there's an adapter here, right here, and that adapts this to the hose that I have. So you have to sort of bend it, take all this tape off of here, and you have to use thread sealant. I use thread sealant for all my connections. You have to hold this straight when you're connecting it. Okay, I've got the little pipe in there. Now I'm going to put this big one in. Now they also give me a piece of insulation that can go in there, And so I'll put that on also. I have to put this piece of sheet metal on there, mark it, then I'll see how big the insulation's going to be. Make sure both pipes are back all the way against this furnace or against the stove. Well, against the direct vent heater. And mark it. Sort of straighten it out a little bit because some of the edges have gotten bent because this is just tin foil on the outside of this. Make another mark over here on the other end. 8 3/4. Alright, put your straight level, your level up there, straight edge. Okay, cut it. Alright, I measured from this edge right here to a point 3/8 from the edge, and then I measured 3/8 over this way. Same with this one, 3/8 down, 3/8 this way. And then I drilled 4 holes. Well, it's sort of pieced together, but mostly made of caulk, but it works.